All right.
All right. All right.
I did a cough for my cough, you know?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 124th episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. My name is Benedict. You may know me better as BHL Hudson. Here we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. With me, as always, is my friend, co-host, and classroom again, buddy? Recording in the classroom?
You're so right. Sneaky buddy, one could say. I have once again infiltrated the corporation of the University of Stirling. And I've snuck back into the classroom in which the last podcast was recorded. So, as per tradition that we will start now, I will send you another sneaky pic of me in this classroom alone.
Excellent. I think this will become a new pod tradition. You know, we had the recordings at my place for a while, then we had some school recordings, and we've done some uni recordings. Now it's time for University of Stirling invasion recordings.
The invasion of all people's privacy recording. I love it.
You're actually recording in a full lecture hall right now. They're all just sitting quietly waiting back for you to finish.
I'm the lecturer. They're watching how a master does a podcast.
You know, there's actually part of my course, at some point, I think we have to produce some kind of like creative work or something for something, whatever. And it said like either like a video essay or a podcast. And it's like, you say a podcast? Do you know?
Did I hear podcast?
Do you know who you're fucking talking to? Also, by the way, uncensored pod. We're doing it. We're doing uncensored pod.
I know.
We tried that last week.
Oh, so good.
I've skimmed the comments. It seems to be generally a supportive vibe. And I think it's
with a few animosity people. But
yeah, with a few people saying they'll never listen again. But I think it's kind of the move. So get ready for that. Exciting stuff. But
very excited. No, legit. I went on a little cheeky sub crawl this weekend. Right.
Sub crawl.
Which is basically you get on the subway and get off at each stop and then go to whatever pub is closest and then get back after a pint. Very cool time. Also very alcoholic time. But I got home to the place we were hosted at very drunk at like 4. I mean, just slightly dizzy, you know.
I was a little tired. I was a bit pooped after the day.
Getting way too comfortable here.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting a little too. Just because the pod's uncensored doesn't mean we can be terrible role models.
I had to sleep on the floor. It was very uncomfortable. But then I saw, you know what? A new uncensored pod is up. So I put my headphones in and just listened, and it was a brilliant time.
And you didn't connect to the speaker accidentally?
This time I did not connect to the speaker, sadly.
Yeah, shame for your flatmates. They would have slept like
But
babies.
I did somehow accidentally put it on loop, so I woke up at 9 a.m. and I went to bed at like 4, and it was the same episode playing, so I've been listening to the same episode on loop.
It was just a very long episode.
And it's the best slept I've had in years.
Yeah, well, speaking of the pod, actually, just on that note, I told my epic story of happiness and redemption when I watched UFC 271 with a woman, believe it or not, last week. And I mentioned that I brought it up on the pod, and she insisted on listening to that segment sitting right next to me. And it was, as Nick Miller would say, this is my nightmare. That's how it felt, having to listen to the podcast in the presence of someone.
My nightmare!
we were talking about on the podcast, but she seemed to enjoy it, so it's all okay, I guess. Okay.
So she's not killed me yet.
But anyway, let's pod.
Let's you know what? On the topic of podcasts,
let's actually record one. So today we have some mini reviews, and by some I mean I have one. We have some news, by some news I mean nothing that exciting. And then I have a sneaky topic. If you have a topic you want to suggest, you can. But I have one that I think could be kind of fun.
Okay.
And I'm
thinking next week we prepare a little something.
That's what I was going to say.
We'll talk in private.
Ooh.
But yes,
behind the scenes action.
Exactly.
Well, today's topic. Actually, I'll reveal it to you when we get to it. But the listeners presumably already know because it's in the title and thumbnail, and that's how YouTube works.
Oh God, how do the listeners know more than I do in this podcast?
That's a sign of a truly poorly planned podcast. That literally, very meta, while recording it, you know less than the people listening to it like a week from now. Also, by the way, we didn't even do anything last time to commemorate that it was Pod 123, the 123rd episode. Pod 123. We didn't even do anything. I don't know what we would have done.
So So what do we do? I reckon 20 dabs on camera.
Oh my god. I was going to say 123 dabs on camera.
Oh, right. That makes much more sense.
And then you can do 123 wall twerks.
Speaking of getting a little too comfortable.
I only have one mini review this week. Excuse me.
Okay. Got one mini review.
Wait, I need a minute. Sorry.
All right, I'll filibuster. We are gathered here today to commemorate the life of B.H.L. Hudson.
Yep.
He was a man who loved to podcast, but loved to cough even more.
I mean, loved is a strong word.
Okay.
A man who tolerated podcasting.
A man who had to sit through a few podcasts.
A man who didn't even do something special for the 123rd episode of his podcast. Also,
a man who did not even do 123 wall twerks for the 123rd episode.
Also, we've done 123. Wow. Anyway, my one minute review. Euphoria. I've started watching Euphoria.
Why?
Because it was suggested by,
Was this a deal you made with the devil that if she watches UFC,
no,
you have to watch Euphoria?
No, I wanted to watch Euphoria. I've heard it's good, and I thought I'd give it a try, and it is good. I've seen like five episodes.
Knock your table! She's holding you hostage right now.
She's actually.
There's no way he's doing this out of his own free will, guys.
I will. Actually, no. We'll talk about this off camera. But actually, no. I'll just say I am being held hostage. No.
We'll talk about it off the air. But goddamn, I miss my mom.
Back on track. It's really good. It's a very. What do you have against Euphoria? Have you seen it?
No, it's just the stigma around it.
What's the stigma?
Everyone's like, it's so like unrealistic high school like.
No, okay, that part's fair. There's a pretty funny. It's pretty funny because like one of the main characters, who's this like jock guy, he looks like he's legitimately 35, and it's like, Nate, whatever, you have to go to the principal's office. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot this isn't like a community college where he's like an adult getting some kind of degree. Like he's actually supposed to be 17 years old. No, yeah, that part is definitely kind of unintentionally funny. But overall, the show's, I mean, it's good. It's entertaining and, dramatic. And, like, I don't know, it's like it's a compelling story. And, like, I wasn't expecting it to be as creative as it is. Like, it has a lot of creative editing and concepts and sort of the way it's presented. It's not just, like, sort of a typical drama. Like, it's quite, the presentation of it makes it quite interesting. It has great acting. Zendaya, who... Up until now, I basically just had only seen in Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman rides elephants or whatever, and she's great. Yeah, no, I think it's really good so far and has some poignant moments, I have to say.
Okay.
So yeah, I will continue watching, definitely, because I actually want to. I want to make that clear, and yeah, good stuff.
I'm still not fully convinced, but I will move on. I don't think I've got many mini reviews either. I think. Well, we'll start off with one that I know I've got, and then I feel like there's something else, but I can't remember right now. But anyways, I have finished with watching with my girlfriend, who doesn't force me to watch Euphoria. I finished watching the first season of Daredevil, and I've now moved on to the second season featuring El Punisher, as he's known.
As Matt Murdock refers to him exclusively as throughout the season.
In the courtroom. Please. Frank Castle, a.k.a. the Punisher, is my client, and I love him. Direct quote.
And I want him to do 123 wall tours for me, please.
Please, right now in this courtroom.
If you're innocent, do wall tours.
Just such a badass show, and the second season when the castle is introduced, it's just so good.
It's like the worst season of Daredevil, but it's still, that just speaks to the quality of the show, because it's still a really, really good season.
I forget, is this the season with Elektra in it as well?
It is, who you famously hate for no reason.
I guess I will live through that.
Well, that's the main complaint I have with season 2, is that I remember it being very kind of disjointed feeling. Like it felt like two separate seasons. Like the Frank Castle thing happens, and then basically just like stops, and then it's the Elektra stuff, and then like Frank Castle kind of comes back at the end. But I feel like they could have connected that stuff a little bit more. They were like trying to do too many things, but just a badass show, isn't it? Have you seen the?
It is just a badass
hallway like staircase fight with a chain or whatever. It's a good part.
Chain.
When he fights the bikers or whatever. It's like a one shot. You would have remembered. You should remember it anyway. But
I mean, yeah, I don't think I've gotten to that one specifically. I remember there's a badass fucking fight scene in the second season as well. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I'm only two episodes into the second season, but I am excited.
Hell yeah. By the way, is your girlfriend being similarly held hostage to watch Daredevil? Because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here.
Absolutely, actually.
I appreciate the honesty.
No, she's big into the Marvel scene. She hasn't seen it, so I was like, you know what?
Okay. Also,
yeah.
Never ever say of anyone ever they are big into the Marvel scene. It's just it's not a good way of phrasing anything ever.
What do you mean? That's how I introduce you all the time at parties. I've got this friend. He's big into the Marvel scene.
He dabbles a little bit in that the Marvel side of things.
Dabbles in the podcasting world. What can I say?
You probably heard of him. He does Uncensored podcast now. It's pretty cool. Anyway, what am I saying? News, if that's all the mini reviewing you have.
I think so. I might just start. I will say I haven't seen the latest Attack on Titan season yet, but I will today. So I'll give a double, whatever review next episode to all those who were worried that I'd missed it.
Okay, well, guys, you can put down your pitchforks. You can stop screaming and crying. It will be back next week.
You can kiss your mother's goodbye. I mean, you don't have to kiss your mother's goodbye.
But yeah, you can. But ominous warning: I'll be reviewing Attack on Titan next week, so you can kiss your mother's goodbye. Anyway. Moving on to the news.
It came out wrong, please.
First of all, did you see the Elvis trailer? Take that as a no.
Excuse me. I imagine this is also how you go up to people at parties. Excuse me. Did you by any chance catch the Elvis trailer that dropped last night?
It looks pretty good. It has Austin Butler, who obviously is your favorite actor, as Elvis. And
Austin Asler. Anyways, go on.
Classic. And it also stars Tom Hanks, more like Tom Asler.
Wanks.
Tom Wanks. Great. Good start. And Tom Hanks is like a German music man, and he's like, I love Elvis. I want to make Elvis an Elvis man. And then Elvis is like, I want to do good things. And then, drama or whatever. It looks pretty good.
So is Tom Hanks like the villain of the story? I guess?
Yeah, I think the trailer opens with Tom Hanks in his like German accent being like, some people would call me the villain of this story, but I think I'm Tom Wanks. It looks pretty good. It looks kind of like a Bohemian Rhapsody-ish, vibe. And that other one, what was that other one that came out? Rocket Man, but not as good as that.
I still haven't seen Rocket Man.
It's very good, but yeah, it looks pretty solid, I suppose. Then I know you're excited for this news.
Okay.
Brace yourself and hold on to your pants. There's a new Star Trek movie coming in 2024.
Consider my pants flying out the window currently. Because goddamn, that is exciting news.
Yeah,
Is this with Chris Pinetree?
Your boy Chris Pinetree is back, baby, and as is the rest of the cast, I'm guessing. And they're teaming up for another trekking. One last ride. I don't really care personally. I'm not huge into Star Trek. Although I've only seen, of all the movies, I've only seen the last one, Star Trek Beyond or something, where Idris Elba was like a gross alien man, and that one was fun. That was a really good movie.
I've never seen a single Star Trek thing.
I've never been able to really get into it. Not that I've tried, so it's kind of on me.
Oh, it just seems like a nerdier, worse version of Star Wars, no?
Yeah, and I mean, again, if you're offended by that, keep in mind we do a movie podcast that has 124 episodes. So if we're calling you nerdy, don't take it too seriously. But I mean, it's sort of it's the same reason I can't really.
I thought you say so. If we're calling you nerdy, we probably know what we're talking about.
So if we're calling you nerdy, it actually should hurt a lot more than if the average person called you nerdy. No. But it kind of always reminded me of Doctor Who in a way, and maybe it's because they're both like, I guess, from a similar time period originally, and like that 60s sort of like, television sort of vibe. But I don't know, I never really loved it personally, but I did really enjoy the last movie. So, Pine is a charismatic Pine man, so exciting, I guess. He's in a new movie where he's like, I was a soldier, and now I'm not a soldier, but I got to come out of retirement or something. Anyway.
That's another classic Pine moment right there. When you were a soldier, you were retired, but you got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, it's iconic and very unique to Pine. Also, speaking of which, actually, they're making a Nobody 2, Bob Odenkirk said, or like that they might make a Nobody 2. So,
ooh, okay. I don't really know. like I'm down, but it's the kind of bit of a Baby Driver situation where like you don't really need a second.
Yeah, it was a nice
fine on,
contained one.
Yeah, it's fine on a standalone kind of thing. Is Baby Driver 2 happening, by the way?
I think we would have heard more about it if it was happening, because they talked about it for a while, and now like I haven't heard about it for a while, so I don't think so. But
okay,
we'll see. Then what's this? There's a Lord of the Rings anime movie coming in 2024. So I thought this would be kind of something up your alley.
Ooh, okay.
Called
Lord of the Rings anime.
The War of the Rohirrim. The story will depict the bloody saga behind Helm's Deep and the man in whose honor it was named, Helm Hammerhand, the legendary king of Rohan. This is from Empire Online. So yeah, anyway.
Okay.
I thought
cool.
you like Lord of the Rings, you like...
Are you not a fan of Lord of the Rings?
I am, but because you also like anime and some such things. And various.
I mean, you have seen a few episodes of One Punch Man.
You're damn right I have. You're damn right. I've seen a few episodes of Death Note, so, we move.
Oh, right. It's he moves.
This I just saw today. Robert Downey Jr. and Shane Black are reuniting for a new movie.
Who's Shane Black?
Shane Black, who I believe refer to as Shane White or Shane Purple or Shane, whatnot. He's the director of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and The Nice Guys. Very talented director and writer. Also Iron Man 3. And he's going to be playing Donald Westlake's Parker, career criminal.
You've never sounded more like disgusted and confused. Parker? What even is that?
Crafty, seemingly irredeemable character. I don't know if this is a real person or like a character or something. Anyway, it's also from Empire. I mean, yeah, I'm very much down for more Shane Black stuff and more Downey Jr. stuff. Robert Downey Jr., I think his only movie since the MCU has been Doolittle, which is just a scary fact out there for anyone.
That's a terrifying thought to have, isn't it?
Just having starred in the movie. Yeah, I mean, he was in that movie with Robert Duvall as the judge or something, but then he hasn't really done anything. I'll look this up, but I don't think.
When is Sherlock Holmes 3 coming out?
I think it was supposed to come out this year. Yeah.
Good. I'm excited.
But
slightly unrelated note, but speaking of Marvel movies and the dates they came out, yesterday went to a little pub quiz, as you know. And there was a movie round, which was which movie it is, and the date it came out. And there was 3 different Marvel movies, and as well as Gladiator and The Terminator. And I named all the movies and then gave all of the correct dates.
No.
But my teammates weren't agreeing with me. They're like, oh no, there's no way Captain Marvel came out in 2019. And there's no way this and this and this. And I was like, it is, guys.
You knew because you went to a Woody's for it.
I went to a Woody's. And then they didn't believe me, put it off, and we lost the quiz.
Wow, I think you need new friends. Let's go. That's podcasting for you. Now you've
proven that is podcasting.
I have a similar kind of vibe. I mentioned that movie trivia thing that my film class did, and although this is arguably one of the more pathetic things a man can do in a film trivia context with film students, it made me the coolest man in the world. Where the question came up, how many MCU films are there? And I proceeded to get the correct number by literally naming all of them in chronological order.
Damn, okay.
Again, at a typical pub quiz, something you'd probably want to keep under wraps, much like the fact that you run a podcast. But when you're at a film student trivia quiz, that is a power play.
That is something that gets you a lot of street cred.
Damn right. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Look at imagine sitting at a normal pub. Yeah. So I went to this trivia night the other night. They're like, oh, cool. How did it go? Well, I named every single Marvel movie chronologically.
Final piece of news. Adam Sandler is in this basketball movie for Netflix. Did you see this?
I heard about this.
It actually looks pretty good. It's not like a stupid Sandler comedy. It's more of a serious thing. And he's the teaser is him.
I feel like we've talked about this on the pod.
Well, there wasn't a trailer. It was announced or something. But
all right.
He's giving this
is the trailer out now?
Yeah, he's giving this motivational speech, and I mean it's a pretty cliche speech. It's it sounds like it could be in a car commercial or some shit. But I don't know. It's Sandler kind of sells it. He's like, do you love the game of basketball? Because there are all these guys who love it, but hard work beats talent and whatever. I'm like, okay, great. But it looks kind of cool.
So on a scale of 0 to Patriots Day, how emotional did this make you?
It's gonna be a strong. It didn't make me at all emotional. I literally can't even remember like half the stuff that happened in it. So I'm gonna say heavy 10, I guess.
I'm gonna say a heavy Patriots Day.
Also, yeah, we're not re-explaining the context of Patriots Day. We've done that before. Anyway,
I'm sure everyone knows at this point.
it's a worldwide phenomenon. This meme that you've made for some reason, over like a genuinely tragic film that for some reason now you just used to mock me. Anyway, okay, that's the news. Good stuff. Now.
Speaking of news, not at all movie related, but did you hear that the Queen has COVID?
No, what? No, wait, which Queen? Our Queen or the British Queen?
The British Queen.
Oh, I did not know. I'm sad, I guess.
I don't know. Anyways, sorry to say.
I don't. You threw quite a curveball at me. I wasn't prepared to. I'm like, I guess that's not a good thing.
I guess I'm not happy about the Queen dying.
I mean,
I don't know. She's old enough, isn't she?
You can't say that. You're gonna get like Buckingham Palaced, which sounds like a sexual term.
What does that mean?
But I meant it as in like the Buckingham Palace guards, like with their big hats, are gonna come after you.
You're gonna receive the Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, which is also what I believe the king says to the Queen every night. And I know there's not a king for the record, but whatever.
And I want you to know that my regal knowledge is sublime.
It's almost
and I know
as
there's
good
no king.
as my chronological MCU chronology knowledge. Thank you very much. Anyway,
you'd think it'd get cooler every time you say it.
You'd think I get more and more friends with every film I named, but it turns out actually every film I named, one person exited the room. Anyway, the topic that I've written down here and that will go in the title is movie franchises that need to die. Now, I'd like to elaborate and explain.
Okay.
It's because I was thinking of doing like movies that need sequels, and we can still probably do that. But because I've realized like we're living in a time where every movie has a sequel and it's a franchise and all this stuff. So I was actually thinking a more interesting one, and then I remembered, I think like 5 years ago there was a Mr. Sunday video about this, and obviously the movie landscape has changed since then. Like movie franchise that need to die. So movie franchise that obviously it's kind of a harsh way of putting it, but it works in a title, I suppose, unless YouTube doesn't like the word die, in which case maybe that doesn't work. But like it more means like movie franchises that need to like take a break, maybe revamp. Like if you're
movie franchises that really need to take a step back and look in the mirror.
If they want to keep it going, like maybe do a reboot in like 10 years or something. But just for the time being, like let's chill out. You know what I mean? So I mean I can give you a few examples, and if you can come up with any in that tiny little pea brain of yours, then you can also throw them in here. But but yeah, so movie franchise that basically I think should take a break and maybe come back later. But for now, I think we've had enough. How does that sound?
That, you know what? That's a very diplomatic and beautiful way of phrasing it.
Thank you. As opposed to the title, which says movie franchises that need to die.
Yeah.
So the first one that I have here, and I think although your initial reaction may be to disagree and try to fight me, try to absolutely Buckingham Palace me. I think
no. I think I know what you're gonna say, and I most likely will agree and won't need to Buckingham Palace you.
Well, I have written Pirates.
I know, and I agree. That was going to be my first one as well.
Yeah.
I love it. The best franchise out there, possibly, Actually, not possibly. Absolutely. But the original three cinematic masterpieces. Like, nothing compares. Fourth one's still good. Fifth one, genuinely puke garbage movie.
Yeah, so I agree with the same kind of wavelength of that they've definitely diminished in quality over time. And I think it's just one that they kind of struck gold with the first one, and to a lesser extent the next two, where it was like,
no, to the same extent, but go on.
It was this fun, like it had energy. Like that's the main thing that I feel like is lacking from the last two. Like it had this like this fun like feel to that feels like lively, and like people wanted to make it, and like it was
people really it felt like just like a fun project that wasn't taken too seriously, whilst at the same time it was done really well.
And then the next two just feel a little bit
the fourth one is fine because, and I know you probably don't agree with me that you think the fifth one's better than the fourth, but it's also just the Captain Jack Sparrow energy that's still there in the fourth one that I think like his charisma and everything is still, whilst maybe to a slightly lesser degree, it's still there as it is in the first three, but in the fifth one it seems like a completely different guy, and I don't like it.
Yeah. By the way, fun fact: did you know that the fourth one is like one of, if not maybe the most expensive movie ever made, or at least at the time it was the most expensive movie ever made? That's ridiculous.
Really?
How does that happen? Who was in charge of that?
How much? It made a lot of money, surely.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I assume it all went into that one scene where Captain Jack Sparrow jumps off the exploding thing, and he goes like, "I will not be doing that again."
Does everybody see that? Because I will not be doing it again.
And I assume it also went to Gibbs becoming the map, which I think happened in that movie.
Couldn't
be
sure.
sure.
Who hasn't seen it? It just sounds like a very weird like transformation.
And then Gibbs just turns into an animated cartoon map and helps out Johnny throughout the film.
Honestly, I'd watch that movie.
I'd watch the shit out of that, actually. That sounds great.
That sounds like a funny.
Yo, actually, maybe this franchise shouldn't die. We got one good idea left in the bank. But yeah, so in terms of like the future, they were talking about doing a sixth one. I don't know what the status of that was. Didn't they say they were going to recast Jack Sparrow or do a new Jack Sparrow?
I think they're going to do there was talks of Margot Robbie becoming Jack Sparrow or something like that.
Or like, I don't think she was going to be the character, but she was going to be like the new like lead in the Pirates franchise. Yeah. Which it doesn't sound terrible necessarily, but it's just like, I think
it's just a bit of a Jurassic World situation, isn't it? Where it's like you take what's like generally like magical movies and then you turn it into something that's much less magical. Granted, they have turned less magical on their own, but it would just feel like a bit of a weird revamp that's not really necessary.
Yeah, it's like this franchisization, which obviously was already a franchise, but like it feels more like just like kind of pump the movies out because it has like a name people recognize. Also, at the end of the last one, there was an end credit scene where Orlando Bloom like gets attacked by the Crabman Barbossa. No, who's the Davy Jones? Remember that?
Davy Jones?
Like he sees like a Davy Jones shadow in his dream, and then he like wakes up. He's like, "Oh, that's my Orlando Bloom impression."
That was a sexual dream.
That was the wettest dream I've ever had.
God, Morningwood, Israel.
Anyway, I would love it if that's the scene where like he sees this horrifying image of like his worst enemy, and the camera just pans out, and it's like couples retreat style Jon Favreau with the boner from like the massage table. Yeah, I think they should take some time off, and like if they want to. Like I'm talking about it like it's like a person at a job or something, but like if they want to revamp it like at some point, and with Margot Robbie or a new direction, I guess I could see that working if they like have the energy back and they make it like its own independent thing. There's some example where they did that really worked that I can't think of right now, but for the time being, I think it's like it was a special kind of thing, especially with the character of Jack Sparrow being so important to it, and I think they should let it rest for a bit, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. I think I agree. I love the franchise, and I love it. And the reason why I say this is because I love it, because I don't want it to get ruined further.
True
that. True dat.
We did touch on it, so I think I might mention it here. I do have written down Jurassic movies might be a franchise that I think should, which I think is going to like simmer down now, because they did say
it said it's the final chapter,
the epic conclusion to the Jurassic Pradathon, and I think that's probably for the best at the moment.
Again, I haven't seen the second one of the Jurassic Pradathon movies, but like it just from what it sounds, or like from what people say, it doesn't sound like it's the vibe,
No, I think the problem is also they've been like the first one is so iconic, and then even though I know you like the second and third, and I do as well, like to a certain extent, and I actually quite like Jurassic World, just like in that it's sort of like a fun summer blockbuster or whatever, but it does just feel like the same movie, like again, and like it has the same tropes, and then the T-Rex chases them, and then there's the moment like where it's all quiet, and then there's the big foot stomp, and it's like whatever, and it's like,
to what point does the iconic scenes become just dull,
boring? Yeah, and it's, I don't know, and I think like that's why I'm a little excited for the new one, because like at least it looks like a bit of a different direction with like and because it's the last one, I feel like maybe they can just like go all out. But even in like then the later movies when they've tried to do new stuff, it just doesn't feel very inventive or exciting. Like they always have a new genetically modified dinosaur that's even bigger and scarier and has more teeth and...
Why do they even do the genetically modified dinosaurs? Like, what's the point?
I don't know, yeah. BD Wong, why do you keep doing that? It never works. You're definitely going to die in the next movie. And he, like...
I hope he dies in the next movie.
I mean, it's been coming since, like, the first movie, so, like, he better. If he doesn't... If Chris Pratt doesn't shoot him square in the head, I'll be very... Like, he doesn't even get eaten by dinosaurs.
Chris Pratt doesn't just impale him with a knife.
Yeah. If Dr. Alan Grant doesn't just absolutely garrote him, and that's how the film ends, just like a 10-minute super brutal, realistic strangling.
Famous archaeologist, Dr. Alan Grant, goes up behind Dr. Wong and just slits his throat with a karambit knife.
And he stares dead into the camera for a solid, like, couple minutes. It's set up like the dinosaur's about to get him. Finally, he gets his comeuppance, then Dr. Alan Grant's like, no. Wait here, dinosaur. And just goes over and just pummels him and just beats him to death.
It'd be funny if he's got... What's that movie with Adam Sandler where he can pause time?
Click.
So imagine... Hear me out.
Okay.
All right. You are a director, and I'm pitching this idea to you, and I want you to have an open mind.
Okay.
All right. So, everything that has happened up until now is the same in the Jurassic World Predathon series. We're towards the end of the movie. Dr. Wong, his leg is broken. He's scrambling. There's 3 velociraptors encroaching. He's going to die. There's no way. Suddenly, you hear "Auga" from the skies. Dr. Alan Grant leaps in and presses click. He presses his clicker. The dinosaurs pause. The world goes still, apart from Wong. Wong looks at him and says, "Thank you, Alan." And then Dr. Alan Grant hits him with a truck.
Like from off screen, just he somehow gets one.
He unclicks the truck that he's paused a few days ago, and he just comes zooming into Wong's face.
You know what? Yeah, we're saying these franchises need to die, but we're coming up with great ideas here, so maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe just listen to us.
Maybe we just need like a full
Jurassic Clickathon.
But yeah, anyway, we got a little sidetracked there. I think... What was I saying? Yeah, the Jurassic movies, you know, they're fine. Like, the maybe it's just because the last one was a bit of a stinker, but I think after this one, yeah, need a bit of a break, and then maybe, you know, try something similar in later years when you can... Maybe also you can do something different with it, you know?
Yeah. No. Okay. I've got one.
Ooh.
And I mean, it is dying out soon, I think. But the Fast and Furious franchise.
See, yeah,
how many movies can they keep doing?
Yeah, I would agree. The thing is, I was thinking about putting it on the list. I have like a honorable mentions list that the Fast and Furious one is on. And I definitely agree that the last one made it feel like a franchise that's like running out of steam. Ha, pun kind of intended. I guess cars don't really run out of steam, but you know, whatever.
You know, I got where you're going.
It worked. Thank you. Yeah, it's just not that they haven't thought of new things to do. Like, they keep doing new things. Like, in the last one, they had a magnet car, and spoilers, Tyrese went to space. I didn't misspeak. Tyrese went to space.
I'm not making this up. You really did hear that first time here, ladies and gentlemen. Tyrese Gibson went to the moon.
And quite frankly, I wish he'd stayed there. I'm kidding. But it just, yeah. It was kind of an exhausting film to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I thought even like the one before that with like the submarine and stuff like that, I was like, oh, come on, like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's crossed the line from like, it sounds way too serious. It's crossed the line, but like it's like, I feel like it's crossed the line a bit from being fun and ridiculous and like just fun popcorn thing. And of course, you know, we're not trying to be Grinches. Like, of course, people still go to them and have that and enjoy them in that sense, but. For me, like the last one, I went into it hoping it would be that, and I just didn't get that out of it. Like it feels like it felt like they hit a kind of special fun mark with, I guess, like 7 around there, and I liked 8 as well. But like with 7, where they were like really ridiculous, but they kind of had this feeling to it that like this feeling of genuineness in a weird way, or like authenticity that made it kind of fun.
It's also the fact that I think as you said, I think 7 would have been the perfect way. A perfect movie to end it, because that's also kind of like paying respect to Paul Walker. Not that like obviously one shouldn't be obliged to end the franchise because one of the leads isn't there anymore. Like the way they did it made sense and allowed them to do like more movies. But like I think it was such a like sweet wholesome ending where like they drive off like see you later brother, whatever they say. And like I feel like if they'd ended it there, it would have been good.
Yeah,
I think that would have been like a perfect thing.
And I think
they're just making it more ridiculous and more ridiculous to the point where it's like, come on, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's the thing about the last one where with 7. What I mean also like by they found that like perfect sweet spot. It kind of almost feels like they didn't know they were being too ridiculous, and there was something kind of charming in that. You know what I mean? Like, and it was obviously super ridiculous, but it wasn't like nonsense. Whereas with the latest few, I feel like they've now seen all the reaction. They know they're like, okay, like people think we're ridiculous and like these movies are stupid. So let's just go even more stupid. And they're kind of self-aware, and it's a little bit like in the last one, it's a bit cringy. Like Tyrese
they're trying to like
this,
one up themselves.
Meme about like we can never die, and it's like it's not as fun if you then like. It's just
go to space, Tyrese.
Well, it was just nonsense. Like it just felt like. There was not that there was usually something like super grounding about it, but there was nothing like to hold it together. It just felt like a bunch of like Looney Tunes skits that just wasn't very fun. I feel like they're just going to keep doing that because they keep making money.
It feels like they're just trying to like one up the last stunt, like Mission Impossible style, but in a shit way.
Yeah, but they don't pay attention to making an interesting film, which Mission Impossible does.
To quote the great
Goldblum.
No. Fletcher Mundo. It's a good old-fashioned cock-off. And it's a cock-off with these movies. They're just trying to one-up each other. I mean, I know this is the same movie, but like, or same franchise, but like, each movie, they're just being like, oh yeah, okay, we jump out of a building with the car. Okay, that's cool. What do we do next? Oh yeah, let's ride cars on a submarine in the Arctic. Okay, dope. Let's take Tyrese to space. Not dope. It's not a good idea. It's
not
terrible.
Cool. You're ruining space.
You're ruining space and time here.
I agree that they do kind of. Yeah, they've cock-offed themselves. And I think also, on a Jurassic note, little Goldblum quote, they were so occupied with what they could do that they never focused on what they should do. So, it's not the exact quote, but he says something like that. So yeah, no, that's a good shout. I've written here The Matrix. I don't think you saw the last Matrix movie.
I have not.
I mean, I'm not super qualified to talk about this because I've only seen the first and the last one. I haven't seen 2 and 3 in full. I think I might have seen one of them a long time ago, or I've seen like parts of them. But again, just movies that are kind of like the first one was great, and then I feel like it's from what I have seen of the others, it's just this formula that like they all kind of feel the same. Like this latest Matrix movie, like the first 30 minutes were pretty fun and creative, and the rest of it was so boring and dull and just like felt like the same kind of Matrixy cliches over and over again in this, like, here's this planet that I don't give a flying fuck about, and I'm just, sorry, that's kind of mean, but like, I don't know, yeah, Matrix.
Here's this planet that I literally could not give less of a shit about. Thank you, movie.
Yeah, but I don't know, I don't have much to, actually, I'll group that with Ghostbusters, because it's a similar one where I don't have much to say about it, because I've only seen the first and the last one, but I don't know, again, controversial takes here, because everyone seemed to love the latest Ghostbusters. And again, I didn't hate it. I actually kind of liked it a bit. It had some goofy
you told
charm.
me on the download that you hated it.
Again, the way it ended with all the old Ghostbusters coming back. And again, some people loved it, and that's great. But, I don't know. It just felt kind of like one of those things where it's like, let's bring back the old thing. And I'm not referring to the Ghostbusters as that. Let's bring back the old thing that was Bill Murray. No, but like, let's
Do you think it'll be a similar note in Jurassic Park now that they're bringing back everyone?
That's one thing that I didn't love about the trailer where I got that vibe. And it's just, again, like we talked about last week, where they keep doing these things where it's like, let's just bring back a thing that people liked in the 80s. And it just feels, I know I'm like this is not a new take or anything, but it's starting to feel a little bit sad and a little bit like, I don't know. I don't like it. And that's the thing. If they hadn't had that, I probably wouldn't put Ghostbusters in this way, because I didn't think the rest of the movie was that bad. It was kind of fun. And that's also just a quick rant on Ghostbusters, which again, I didn't hate. That's such a weird thing about that movie where like it's clearly meant to be a kids movie for a new generation of like it's not meant for old Ghostbusters fans. But then the spoiler alert, basically the conflict is resolved, or at least helped to be resolved, by all the old Ghostbusters showing up, and all the kids watching this movie are gonna be like, who are these 3 old men and this actual ghost who's helping out? Like,
You're still stuck on the fact that he's a ghost.
It upset me a little bit. I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't want people to be dead and then brought back as an actual ghost in a movie. It's weird. I don't know.
I watched the honest trailer for it. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't.
But they say like the moment they're like the first moment he comes back, he like hugs a little girl or something like that. That's apparently like a quite sweet moment.
Yeah.
And if he'd gone away there, it would have been fine. But then he just stays.
He's awkwardly there, and I think he shoots some ghosts and stuff, and it's like he's like in an action sequence. I'm sure they made action figures of this dead man's ghost. You know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know. It's yeah.
It feels dirty.
It had like a touching moment, I guess, but you could have. I don't know. Anyway, enough Ghostbusters rants. I just think maybe they should, because also they tried to do the the 2016 one, which wasn't great by all accounts, and I don't know. Maybe give it a rest, and if there's a new fresh way of doing it, which they sort of did in the last one but then didn't by the end, do that.
Yeah, but I'll say like the first 3 Ghostbuster movies, they're just so iconic that I think any child who knows or wants to watch the new Ghostbuster stuff, they will also be watching or have watched the old one, so they'll know, I guess, but it won't have the same like effect.
I don't think kids want to watch Ghostbusters from 1984. I could be wrong. Like, I'm sure they are familiar with the pop culture, but also maybe not. Kids, I mean, remember, kids who are seeing this
Kids
movie,
are stupid these days.
They were... Okay, this is going to be one of those, like, boomer moments, so get ready for that. But, like,
okay.
a kid who would see this in the cinema now was born in, like, 2012. Isn't that weird to think about?
Okay, boomer.
Like, I don't know.
That is weird to think about.
Some kids who are seeing this movie, and the kids who are the target demographic for this movie were born after I created my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? That weirds me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm growing old, and we're all gonna die someday. It's just thoughts that I'm having.
That's a scary thought.
But anyway, one day I'll be a CGI ghost fighting with Bill Murray. You know?
Would you? But Bill Murray's still there.
Yeah, Bill Murray would never die.
Bill Murray cannot die.
For the record, this was recorded on Monday, so if Bill Murray has died between now and Friday, I'm so sorry.
That we are spitting straight lies.
Anyway, Ghostbusters. Yeah. Do you have any others, or I have some more here?
Do you have any others, or can I continue with this fucking?
And another thing I hate about the Ghost in Ghostbusters.
A 20-minute rant about the Ghost.
Oh God.
Would you have liked it more if they made him
a zombie?
That would, just like completely feral and like gross. That would have been so disrespectful.
Like fucking mauling Bill Murray. He puts his hand above the ground, like crawls out of the earth, and his granddaughter in the movie's like, "Oh my God, he's hideous. He looks terrible. He's so scary."
He's so scary, and then he just like fucking World War C zombie style.
In the credits, it still says for Harold.
The director thinks he did something genuinely touching.
It was a tasteful tribute. Oh my God.
It's beautifully animated so that it's like it looks exactly like him. There's no mistaking. Director's very proud of that fact.
But he's just so horrifically scarred and zombie-like. Okay, stop. Now we're becoming the horrible people. We were slowly moving away from the bit. We're just genuinely doing it. Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, Harold.
Harold.
That's what it says in the credits. Sorry, Harold.
Sorry, Harold. And then next slide, to Harold.
Next slide, winky face.
Sorry, Harold. Next slide, in parentheses, not sorry.
Oh my God. Anyway,
Jesus.
I feel like that's not one of our most tasteful bits, but you know what? Stay in.
I don't think it is.
No, it's actually our most tasteful bit. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, do you have one? Oh my God.
Jesus, I'm sitting here crying. That's what podcasts do to you.
They ruin you emotionally. Well, I have some more if you need a little.
All right, you
inspiration.
go.
This one isn't technically like a franchise, but I thought it still counted. Live action Disney remakes, I think, should kind of shut up. Although I think
should kind of get the fuck out of here.
I think they are because I don't remember the last one. I mean, like, I guess Cruella.
Wasn't the last one like Mowgli?
Mowgli was like 4 years ago, but that's.
What was it? Oh no, the last one was Aladdin, was it?
Aladdin or The Lion King, and those Cruella. They did like a Lady and the Tramp one on Disney Plus that no one watched.
But see, like the Cruella one, I think that's something you could do because it's not like a just complete remake.
Yeah,
I mean that's more of a remake than like just a rendition.
Mm-hmm. That feels like a new take on the story.
Yeah, exactly. Like so, like the new takes, and the same with like Malevolent or whatever.
Maleficent.
Like that's also fine. Is it Maleficent? All right. That I think is also. I think those are okay. Like not my favorite movies, but like something that I would watch. Whereas like, yeah, just like complete. Like The Lion King is just basically a shot-for-shot remake of the previous Lion King. There's like no surprises there at all.
Yeah, I think I agree. I didn't love like Maleficent or I mean I like Cruella a bit, but I agree that I like that conceptually much more because it's it's a new thing where like the live action ones, even though I really liked The Jungle Book when it came out, I haven't thought about it since, but like the concept just kind of baffles me the more I think about it. I think it's one of those things that maybe in like 10 years or something we'll look back on and be like, that was fucking weird. That like remaking these animated films, like the highlight of it is the animation, like the fact that it is this like cartoon, that it's cute, that it's fun, and like the fact that they made it, I guess, like I know it makes money and people liked it, but I haven't even seen the Lion King one, so I shouldn't be judging it. But I mean, from everything I've heard, it's just basically shot for shot. But
yeah, it is.
They look
I mean, apart from the one fact that they changed, that they shouldn't have changed, where they started saying, "Can you feel the love tonight?" in broad daylight. It's so stupid. God. But yeah, that's really triggered. That's my Herald moment. That's something that's really triggered me for like somewhat no reason. But
we'll bring that up for every episode going forward.
Please.
But yeah, I don't know. It's so weird to do that with. Again, just like it looks so much uglier. Like it's cool as an idea. Like if you wanted to do that as like a YouTube video or something, it's like, look, we made The Lion King, but it's they all look realistic, and like if you had a huge budget or whatever, okay, but like to make it like a story and a film, I don't know, it just feels weird. And the other ones,
also
they made,
like
Cinderella.
a lot of the emotion, like I think obviously you can't really get around this, but like a lot of the emotional scenes are made slightly weird by the fact that there's no like actual expression in the eyes of the animals. Yeah, so you're sitting there like Simba's like crying that Mufasa's been trampled by 1,000 freaking wildebeest. And then he's just like, his eyes are just the exact same, and then you hear the voice going, "Dad!" Like, Simba, what the fuck's going on here? It's
just such a weird, it just removes so much life from it. It's just such a, again, like, I feel like we're kind of like, we've gotten used to it, so no one really thinks about it, but like, it's just such a weird thing to do. Like, I don't know, why?
It is such a weird thing to do.
Anyway, so that's, and like even, something like Cinderella, which like is an okay movie, but again, it's just like, at least I get that more, because like, it's with people, and you can like do a different take on it, and like it's a story that's been remade a bunch of times.
I mean, I have not seen the Cinderella one.
It was also pretty whatever, like kind of a little dull. Like I know it wasn't really made for me, but I don't know. Yeah, it was made specifically for me, a college student guy in his 20s. Do you have one, or I have another one?
Do you have one? I do have one.
Thanks for watching.
I do have one. I mean, we've talked about this multiple times before as well, but the Indiana Jones franchise.
That was going to be my next one, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's like the fact that they even made the latest one, big mistake, I think. I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan, but like, I can appreciate some of the like the fun adventure stuff that's in the movies. But the whole point of it is that it's a fun, like, exotic adventure with a guy who's actually fit and aged well enough to be able to do those things.
Yeah.
We don't need an 80-year-old Harrison Ford stumbling about.
Yeah, this is on. I don't want to be mean because I love Harrison, but like, the whole point of those films is that he's he's a fun, cool, like, adventurer who you want to be, and you he's
What you're saying is that you do not want to be Harrison in his current state.
like you don't. The whole point is that he doesn't have like a great character arc or anything. Like he's there's some to his character, but like it's not about like this amazing character story. It's about he's like the coolest like idealized version of like an adventurer and a protagonist, and like that's why it's fun to follow him, and like that's why it's different with something like Logan, for example, where old man Logan is interesting and like because he's this character with this tragic suffering and
tragic.
You can
and
do
like
this
gritty backstory. Here, it's just nothing really changes about the whole aura. Oh no, like the aura definitely changes, but like the whole like backstory about the actor or the character. But it's just basically Indiana Jones, but
he's old. Yeah, it's like it's not. It almost feels in a weird way like a favor to Harrison Ford, and I know it isn't, but I'm just saying like. It's like, we gotta make another one with Harrison because that'd be fun. But it's like, it doesn't work for the movie. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't.
No.
It's not fun to watch really. And like the last one wasn't really fun. And this one's like 12 years later, and he was old in that. And again, I'm not trying to old shame Harrison Ford. I'm just saying like, and like the next one they're gonna do like a bunch of flashbacks with like de-aging and stuff. And I guess maybe that could be fun, but I don't know. It's just not suited. I think it'd be much better to make a new similar franchise, or even hand it off to someone, a new character. Like he's like, okay, and now I pass on.
Wasn't there talks of someone becoming like the new Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I think they talked about maybe Chris Pratt, or maybe that was just like rumors or something. But like, I don't know. I don't think Chris Pratt would be good for it. But like someone a little more like, I don't want to say a little more charming, but like someone a little more like.
I don't want to say nothing, but Ryan Gosling could be a shout.
Because like he has, that's the great shout. Because he has the comedic element, but he's kind of cool. Like the thing
he's also beautifully looking.
Yeah, I also want to lick his face. Like the thing about Chris Pratt is he's fun and he's like cool, but he's like in this more kind of goofy way, like with Star-Lord, like he sort of plays the more like goofy sort of character. Whereas like Ryan Gosling, I feel like could pull off a bit of that like cool sort of Indiana Jones vibe. So I think.
Whereas I think Ryan Gosling is cool.
As a really cool man myself who can name all of the Marvel films in chronological order of release, I think Ryan Gosling could be the man for the job. But yeah, I think after this next one, I don't think they wouldn't make a sixth one, but maybe they can pull it around with this next one because it's James Mangold, the director of Logan, so that could be something interesting. But I don't know. I think give it a rest maybe. And now I think we'll wrap it up there for the topic. My honorable mentions, Despicable Me, like obvious reasons. It's just not. I don't know. But it's also a kids franchise. So what do I care? And Transformers. I like Bumblebee, but otherwise those films have been kind of obnoxious for a while. But maybe they're gonna be good. And I also put like maybe Star Wars, just because like I don't know. It's such a big franchise, so it's hard to say. But like just with the movies, I think it's good. That
I think like Star Wars. They'll definitely be made more Star Wars movies, but take a little break.
Which I think they're doing currently. Like I don't know what the next Star Wars movie is. Like there's a ton of TV stuff coming out, which should be fun, like Obi-Wan and stuff. But after the last trilogy, take a little bit of break and then come back with a new energy. Anyway, it's now time for
the Cnews.
Let's see what our boy has been up to today. Bushveld Town in thrall as Tom Cruise choppers in. Let's go. We're back to Tom Cruise just taking a helicopter to random places.
Good stuff.
Where is...
I've missed it.
Where is Bushveld? South Africa. Okay.
South Africa, Bushveld.
He flew in a helicopter and some wildlife on a private wildlife estate. And okay, great, whatever. He flew in on a chopper. I just feel like Tom Cruise choppers wherever he wants. He could land on the street outside my accommodation right now, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Or sad at all.
Yeah, no, I'd actually be pretty cool. I'm a bit of a fan.
I kind of love Tom Cruise.
Now it's time for the announcements and such. Take it away, us right now. First of all,
right now,
GC Green sent in a exclusive leaked version of the Doctor Strange 2 trailer on Twitter. And by that, I, of course, mean it was the Doctor Strange 2 trailer part where he's talking to Patrick Stewart, Professor X, and then he intercut the Beast Mode video. So, good stuff all around. Also, by the way, just another story. And on this mysterious woman who I keep mentioning, who I probably shouldn't mention as much. She found it charming once, but she'll probably hate it if I keep doing it. But we were talking about going to the movies, and I just hear from like over at the desk, she's like, "What's dog?" I burst out laughing. Like immediately just picture
what is dog?
Our deep fan fiction about it. So yeah, let's look at some comments. Movie Guy says #uncensored the PPP. ZJ13 says uncensored the pod. So some support for the pod. GC Green at 2:32 in this podcast. There's a sneaky reference to podcast episode 24. Freddy still doesn't know Darth Maul after 3 years. God, was this a pointless comment to make? Yes. Did I enjoy making the connection? Absolutely. So look at the memory on GC Green. Very impressive.
What in the world?
And
that
you
is so impressive.
Are so uneducated still. And then of course we have responses.
I still don't know who Darth Maul is.
Darth Maul, what a connection, and Darth Maul, what a joke. Sheldon says Doctor Strange risked the whole universe.
I love our freaking comments that we get.
It's pretty great, right? Why?
Darth Maul. What a joke.
it's absurd and also wonderful.
It's so good.
Sheldon says Doctor Strange risked the whole universe to help a 15-year-old, which is a good point. Doctor Strange, bit of a dumbass who also gets fooled by mathematics.
True. He clearly doesn't know geometry.
Harry says, love the pod, guys. My whole family thinks I'm insane because all they can hear from the other room is me laughing my ass off at the pod. I appreciate that, Harry. Thanks for listening, and I'm sorry that your family
thinks
hates
you're
you?
psychotic now.
I'm sure they don't hate you, but yeah, no.
I don't think he thought that until you just said it.
Sorry, I've planted that idea in his
brain.
And
I'm sorry that your family probably want to put you up for adoption now.
No. So yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Josie says the LeFous needs to be a thing. I'll try to keep us updated on that. I'll just put that in my notes. LeFous, if I see anything in bad news.
The LeFous.
Michael Scarn says Christopher Smith, what a humorous person, which I believe is Peacemaker's secret identity. So again, just it never stops. Daniel, another.
Oh my God, no! Shit.
Another really enjoyable episode. Keep up the great work. #uncensor the podcast. Well, it's your lucky day. The pod is now uncensored. Connor says today is a big day in PPP history. The boys have become men. That's right, because we can now say fuck and nothing will happen.
Can I just interject?
Please.
I totally forgot to say.
Oh boy.
In the mini reviews, I've watched 4 episodes of Peacemaker. What a joke!
Oh, you're ahead of me then. What the hell?
I am. It's so good. I genuinely love it.
It's a great show, right?
Favorite shows.
It's really good.
It's so enjoyable. It's like exactly my type of humor. I love it.
Awesome. Well, hey,
it's so good.
Next episode, I'll try to catch up as well, and let's have a bit of a Peacemaker talk.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
Sean says, I do actually care a lot on this censoring debate. Absolutely start uncensoring the pod. It would make it so much funnier. Most viewers are probably teenagers or young adults anyways. Yeah, so big support for the uncensoring. Michael Scarn still asking us to talk about pain and gain. You know, I'll put it in a list. Just why not? If you demand
you
it.
sounded so tired.
Yes. Anson.
We can talk about it, but neither of us will see it.
Yeah, we'll finally just do it, even though it'll be a terrible segment. If that's what you want, Michael. Anson, I'm fully aware that Jurassic World Dominion will probably just be over-the-top action and manipulative fan service, but I'm still insanely hyped. I love this franchise wholeheartedly. I get that. That's, we all sort of let go some of our criticisms with, like, franchises we're attached to. Like, No Way Home, you could probably poke some more holes in if it wasn't so, like, nostalgic, but I get that. Also, that LeFou segment was one of the funniest in pod history. I was trying to make lunch, but I legitimately couldn't stand up. I was laughing so hard. I'm glad you enjoyed, Anson. Jaden says, after finally watching Ghostbusters after... God damn it. We're back to this.
God damn it.
After finally watching Ghostbusters Afterlife, I cannot believe that BHL did not like it, especially after watching the credits and seeing that Joshua Gad, known best for playing LeFou, plays the ghost Muncher. What the fuck, BHL? I did not know Josh Gad was in Ghostbusters Afterlife, but that makes our whole Ghostbusters rant this episode all the more poignant, I guess.
All the better. LeFou's just in.
And finally, Cal W says, the maker of peace, what a jovial moment. God damn it. We've started a monstrous movement here. So yeah, good
the
stuff.
Maker of peace, what a jovial.
God damn it.
I love it. It's so like the more I hear it, it's so it's so enjoyable.
Also, I think we got some comments in that short I made about dog, but I can't find it right now. Although I believe, oh yeah, I have it here. Michael Scarn says Potatum peaked with Gambit, and I just found that funny because Potatum never made Gambit. Anyway, we gotta go. We're always on a time crunch. I really think we have to pace these pods better, and by we I mean I, because we always end up like screaming and rushing and crying our way through the ending. Anyway.
That's the beauty of it.
Last thing here on the fan page, we have a tweet. Morbius will gross $17 trillion in the box office opening day. I bet it will, and I bet it will all be from Freddy and his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. We'll rent out every single cinema in the UK.
And the world.
And the world.
Well, yeah, that was the announcements and such for this week. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, I mean, what am I... God. Excuse me.
Fuck.
So that was the episode for this week. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please leave a 5-star rating. And if you're listening on YouTube, the Poorly Planned Podcast, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell button, comment your thoughts on this episode down below and what we talked about. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog. Also, check out the fan pages.
Munches.
The fan pages linked down below and the fan-made TikTok. And... yeah, you can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. You can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com.
You can find me on Twitter at FTK_DaltSniper. You can find me on Instagram at Fidalgard. And you can find me on YouTube at FTK_Gaming. Also, real quick, I just noticed that the bio for the pod fan page from Cian says, every podcast has its uniqueness, just go with it, from Trenton Bwaiths. So it just caught me really off guard. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time. Harold.
No.